What's up, YouTube? Adam Patterson here. And I want to speak about this idea of follow your passion that's always been out there. Warren Buffett speaks of it a lot. You want to be able to tap dance your way to work. And I think it's a very flawed idea. And the reason that I'll say that is because when you are young, you don't have any idea what your passions are, and your passions may change as life goes on. As you experience more and more things, your passions will change. As I have gone through life, I have had some very big staples in my life. I'm a huge fan of health and fitness. That is a staple of my life. It is a passion in my life. I tried to go into business and it ruined health and fitness for me. You can take a passion of yours that is a giant hobby and you can leave it as a hobby. You don't have to follow your passion. Your passion doesn't have to be something that is an industry. It could be, I'm very passionate that I want to have my time back. If you are passionate about having your time back, there's really only two things that you could do. And it's owning a company or going into sales where they allow you to work remotely or on your own schedule. That being said, following your passion seems a flawed idea in my mind. If I would have entered the workforce and gone straight into my passion, I would have gone to work at a gym because that was the only thing that I was passionate about at a young age. I wanted to learn how to sell. I knew that I needed to learn how to sell and how to market. But what I was passionate about was health and fitness, getting in the gym, weightlifting. That was my passion. And there's not many career tracks in that. There's becoming a personal trainer. This is just what I think. There's becoming a personal trainer. There's owning a gym. There's working at a gym. Those are the only three things that I see, maybe being in health somehow. But when it came to weightlifting specifically, which was my passion, those are the only three things that I could ever think of. And you could become a personal trainer and you could do it online. But if you needed a job at the time, you had to go and work at a gym as a personal trainer. And following your passion just seems this flawed plan because it says, go all in on this, even if there's no career path for you, even if you don't understand what to do. Now, obviously, as I'm older, I realize that you could have started a supplement company and whatever. Everything is going to be difficult that you choose to do, regardless of what you choose. And that is where the idea comes from for follow your passion, is because everything that you choose to do, anything that you will do or can do, is going to hit you with difficulties. You're going to face a lot of turbulence in your flight path to success. And they say follow your passion because if you don't enjoy what you're doing each day, if you don't enjoy the process, you're not going to fight through the difficult times. You're going to quit, and then you're going to be, quote unquote, burnt out. And that is where the idea comes from, but that is what they should say. They should never just say, follow your passion. If you are passionate about what you do, you will fight through difficult times, and that is important. I entered this job, what I do now, the company that I own in transportation and logistics, and I had never worked in it before. I wasn't following my passion whatsoever. Once I got into it and realized how much I enjoyed it and the different dynamics of what you do, of course you call and sell on customers. That I love doing, but you also get to run the operations of the business and transact every single day. I also love that. And I love that you actually build relationships with your vendor partners and that there's so many different ones. Every day has new challenges, but every day is very difficult. Sales is difficult in and of itself. The game of sales is inherently difficult because 98% of your outreach will be met with objections to what you're saying. It'll be met with no. It'll be incredibly uncomfortable and you will feel absolutely disturbed doing the job, but it's rewarding when it pays off. And you only need time and just a few people to say yes to you. You need time, a little bit of better messaging, and a little bit better go to market. And you need to be able to improve yourself over time in what you're offering. This is one of the most fun games in the world that I have ever played. I treat this as if it is a game. And I wake up and I play to win. I want to win. That is the goal here. I want to win. I want to grow the best brokerage out there. I want to be a broker of choice for my shippers. I want to be a broker of choice for my carriers. I want to be a broker of choice for my technology partners. I want to be a broker of choice. And that is something far bigger than just playing to win, but that is playing to win my own game. It's not that I need to be the highest revenue brokerage out there. I don't need to beat C.H. Robinson, although I do plan to. But the game is that I want to play on my own rules. And when you can develop your own rules, you become far more passionate about it. I loved this when I worked it as a job, and that's how I knew that I wanted to turn it into the business that I went into for the rest of my life. That is how I figured out that I had a passion for it. But I had no idea that I had a passion for it before I started and actually worked in the industry for a little over a year and 2 years. That is when I realized that I didn't want to do anything else, because when I thought about quitting my job to start a business or quitting my job to go and find another job when I was miserable, all I came back to was, I just want to broker freight. And that's how I knew that I discovered a passion that I had no idea even existed up until I made the big move to go and start in it before I had a passion for it. Don't follow a passion, follow a career path for yourself and take whatever avenues that you have to. And then when you go out on your own, when you decide to get into a company of your own, that should be something that you're passionate about. But don't chase your passion from the moment that you walk out the door of your parents' house into the real world. Chase what you think you can progress in. And then eventually, I'm saying a career path. Choose a career path. If you want to be an accountant to a CFO to a something, choose that career path and go work in a company. If you want to be in freight brokerage, pick a brokerage to go work at or whatever. But don't choose it and start a company immediately, because I went down that path and it set me down 13 failures and a lot of money lost before I actually found the thing that I wanted. It is great to experiment. It is great to try. God loves a trier. You will get hit with little different things that show you that you can do this if you actually knew what you were doing. You will get hit with those. When I was starting my websites and drop shipping companies and wholesaling companies, I got sales. It just wasn't anything that ever made it stick. But it did show that I knew how to go out and make money on my own. It showed that I could go out and create something on my own if I only knew a little bit more, if I only could stick with it. The problem was when it got difficult, I wasn't in love with those things. This was difficult from the moment that it started. I went out on my own at a time when rates were through the bottom, service was as high as it could possibly be, and people weren't onboarding new vendors. People aren't onboarding new carriers. Even today, people are not onboarding new carriers, but rates are on the way up, service is failing. It's always going to be that way. You're always going to run into different difficulties along the way, and you just have to fight through them. And if you don't want to fight through them, it's probably because that's not the industry that you truly want to be in. Just some words of advice and a little bit of wisdom from a guy who's failed 13 times and succeeded once.